It's all you, it's all you, it's all you. I can look at it a million ways, million times, in a couple days. Say I get it, clearly don't. No time to argue, got time to smoke. I run around, I go around, I got it all figured out. Burn a bridge, torch a few. What is old, always new. And now I'm an island, I'm a hard man to reach. Lose connections.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my interview with the creative force behind Ash J. Johansen, Jason M. Ashley.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to welcome to the Dick Buttons interviews a person that I met first via a persona, Ash J. Johansen. Big fan of the work, and then I'll be honest, for the longest time I thought you were an actual woman, which we'll get into that in our little realm of people. That's normal, by the way.
Yes.
But I want to welcome to the show Jason M. Ashley. Welcome. Sir.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk some Ash and music and whatever we talk about.
Yeah. So when you sent me your bio, so normally the first question I ask when I bring everybody in from the AI community is how you got into AI music. But when I read your bio, you have a diverse music background. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to that genesis. So I'm assuming that's where it all started for you.
Yeah. I've been playing music since I was 14 or so. I'm 44 now. I think I'm 44 now. I'm in that ballpark. So I've played it for most of my life. I will say the last 10, 15 years or so, maybe a little bit longer, I really just kind of played like, I wasn't in bands or anything like that. I would just record stuff at home on my phone, on my laptop, whatever. And really, I'd kind of thought that whole part of my life was over. Because when I was, I don't know, in my 20s to 30s, I was in a few bands and like never like toured or anything like that. But I'm from Texas, so we played in Dallas. A couple of bands I was in played quite a bit, and we opened for a bunch of bands that became popular at the time. You know, no one knew who they were. I just like to tell myself we were ahead of the curve, and that's why. But so yeah, I've done all that. Like I feel like I am not a person that inherently had musical talent. I just I remember to this day, the first time I heard Weezer's Blue album, that's the album that made me, like, it clicked in my brain that this is something I've got to do. And like my younger sister, she used to sing when she was young. And so my family was like, oh, she's the singer, she's the singer. And I was the nerd pretty much. And then I got a guitar and was like, I want to sing. This is a thing I want to do. So I just essentially just sang along to all the music I loved, and eventually got to the point where I was comfortable enough to actually do it. And then after that, I mean, I don't know, I probably have been in my life maybe 3 or 4 like legitimate talented bands that I would show somebody music from. I've been in a lot more bands that were not worth sharing, but yeah, so I have all that experience under my belt. I have all these demos I've written and recorded for years and years and years that are literally just sitting on stacks of hard drives. And one night I was at my desk, I had YouTube up, and it was doing one of those infinite loops of lo-fi beats and all that. And I was like, man, someone needs to make a like stoner metal version of this, like a 12-hour just down-tuned guitars and Led Zeppelin riffs, you know? And so I was like, I wonder if I could make something like that. And then I Googled, is AI music a thing now? And found Suno, and here we are a year and a couple months later, you know?
Yeah, we're all about the same time period. I think the group that I like to call it our core group, because we've been together at AI Music Society for about that amount of time. Now, before we get into the AI stuff, at what point? I mean, at one point you were thinking of being a musician. That's what you wanted to do, right?
Well, not professionally.
Oh, okay.
I've never ever done any music or creative stuff as like this is going to be my job.
Okay.
The most I ever got into that, my main like work stuff has been marketing and design and video for like the past 15-ish years or so. And so I kind of just channeled the creative stuff into that instead.
Okay. So then when I love the genesis of a persona because I'm a heavy persona guy.
No.
I'm nuts. I have like 10 of them. But when did Ash make an appearance? Like how did that now? And I'll say this, when you sent me that split screen, there are aspects of your face in Ash. You know that has to be true. You used your face, right?
I didn't honestly like
Really?
I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where like the no, let me try that again. People whose pets look like the owners, that sort of
Okay.
thing. Maybe we're rubbing off on each other.
Because I
But
saw her eye. The eyes is where I saw it.
well, it's funny you say that. I've been working on a music video, and one thing I noticed while working on it, and I went back and checked. I try so hard for that consistent look that make her look the same. Her eye color changes almost every shot
Yeah.
she's in, so I gave up on that. But no, honestly, it came about because you saw in my bio and you put it in your post about my stuff is like I don't know, maybe like 6 years ago or so, I got really into this band called Sleigh Bells. It was a pop singer and a guitarist from a metalcore band decided to do some weird mashup stuff. And I heard it. I'd never heard anything like it. And like, I just fell in love with it. It was just like really noisy, dirty production with a lot of like down-tuned guitar stuff, but then like these really catchy melodic hooks and like hand claps. And it was lighthearted while being dark. And I fell in love with it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And
Right.
so I started this quest. I'm going to find a singer. I want to find a pop singer who can do this kind of stuff, who has varied taste. And I want to do my version of this. And I looked and looked and looked. I mean, posted, paid on certain forums to post ads, all that stuff. And in like the 4 or 5 years I did it, I never had a single conversation with a single person. Never picked up. And so Ash kind of became like, obviously her name is letters of my name switched around
Correct,
until
yeah.
it makes a lady's name. Ash was a given. Johansson, I just know Scarlett Johansson's the highest paid actress in the world right now. And I thought, well, I'll just piggyback off her name, although
Mhm.
spelled wrong. But really like, it's funny. I have a screenshot of it. I saved it whenever I did this because I thought it was hilarious. But her look came directly from Chat GPT. This was back on, I don't even know, like when they first started even having images as an option. I didn't describe her specifically. The only sentence I used was, show me a picture of a pop singer who eats cigarettes for breakfast. That is what I typed. And the first picture that came out was the bleach blonde, bangs, dark eyeliner, like, torn up punk jacket, cigarette. And I was like, that's it. Like, that is the look I envision when I think about the sound I want to make.
That is
And,
pretty cool.
yeah. And,
Mhm.
her look evolves, it changes. I try to make it kind of like some parallel world where, like, if you see her have a video in March, then come April, her hair should be longer in the next video.
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
about weird shit like that. So I try to make it as lived in feeling as possible.
It's funny what we agonize over, like when we do videos and stuff. And we'll get into the video production after, but it
Sure.
it even with Dick Buttons, the persona, it was very hard to keep him consistent all this time as well. And he's evolved over time just because the software has evolved. And
Yeah.
as much as you try to keep it as consistent as possible, I just don't think it's possible, really.
And when I think too, at least for me, you don't necessarily realize the evolution the look of a character has until you go back and look at like an early
Yeah.
image. Because I mean, I'm sure you were the same. Most people were that have been doing this for a while, but the image of your persona, your pseudonym, whatever you want to call it, this was like pre-Google Nano Banana, so there was no
Yeah.
image consistency. There was people training LoRa's that you could use to kind of do that, and I messed around with that. I remember for like a good almost 2 years, I used a website that was AI image generation, but it was like no hand holding. It was like, here's a box with, you type the code and you figure it out, and I
Right.
learned it so I could make all this stuff, but I mean, I could spend 2 days and not get two characters to look the same on an image. And then Nano Banana came along, and it's like, oh shit, like I just put a picture. I don't have to train anything anymore. I say,
Right.
this is her, make her do this. And so I think what happened for me, and I would be surprised if this wasn't the same for most people, the look that kind of came out when those models were hitting the market is probably pretty much the look everyone's stuck with. Because I feel like the older look, and I notice it more with women images that are generated in the beginning, they all had the same face.
Right.
What sucks is because that's when I designed, that's when Ash's look came to be. I'm kind of locked into that to some degree. And so there's sometimes where like I'll see some random post of something somewhere with AI, and I'm like, that looks a lot like her. And I have to remember, she's not a real person. That look
Right.
is not her. It's a thing that a computer made up.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that because I actually think of Dick Buttons as an extension of myself. Now that visual is based on my face and
Mm,
I put, it has and I actually identify with his personality too. So
yeah.
he is like a member of the family, and friends and family don't get it. Do you have a friend or a family member that you could actually share all this stuff with and they get what you're doing, or is it a
Oh,
battle?
no, I think I will say this, as someone who's done music for a long time and shared music with of many kinds, with different bands, with different people in my life, friends, family, this has been the weirdest. I think the AI aspect of it, people don't really
Right.
know how to think. Um, but no, like when I have a video come out, like I text my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my mom, my stepdad, like I'm texting everybody, letting them know here's a link. And it's so sweet. My mother-in-law will call me after every video and talk to me about it and ask me
Oh, you're
about it.
lucky, man. See,
Well, it's so funny. Like the last video I released was the one that had all the themes about suicide and self harm and all that stuff. And so I kind of put a warning out to anyone I texted to. Hey,
hmm
don't you may not want to watch this Monday morning, over coffee at your desk, but watch it. Um, got a few texts back. Oh, that was so cool. Blah 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 blah. I get a phone call from my mother-in-law, and she's like, "Jason, are you doing okay? I just want to call and check." And I was like, "This is the sweetest thing ever." So it was very much appreciated. But I don't know. Like there are definitely just about any time I share stuff, Ash stuff with anybody. There's a part of me that like I'm so excited to share it. Like I'm excited to
right.
share this thing that came out of my brain and went through all these channels, and now it's here in front of you. You can look at it and listen to it. So I want to share it. Um, Sometimes I talk myself out of it because I build this up in my head, and I feel this way about it, and it means this to me. And you build all this stuff up, and then I share it, and you'll get a that was cool, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Or just no response at all. And I've posted about this on Facebook. I talk about this a lot when it comes to the music and sharing it and stuff. Like I've shared things I've made for all my life, so I have developed a thicker skin to the point where I can take criticism or the fact that someone doesn't like it. Like I have people or people in the community that make really cool videos and really put effort into their music, and it's just not music that appeals to me. But I can
Right.
still appreciate the quality of it, the effort, the
Right.
love, the craft, and so like I can always feel that way. And so when I'm trying to like share it and I want to tell people about it, and it's this and it's that, it's mixed reactions. I have some friends that like every time they got to tell me they watched it and tell me what they liked about it, and that's always really appreciated. And then I have like very close friends who have never said a word to me about it, and I've been
Uh-huh.
doing this for I said a year plus. Um,
Right.
and so I've kind of had to have that conversation with myself where it's just like, people text me shit all the time, and I'm like, I see it, I like you, I respect you, I want to look at it, but now is not the time. Today is not the time. Tomorrow's probably not the time, but I will get around to it.
hmm
And so it's kind of judging or managing that expectation. But I would say overall, the longest answer to a very short question ever. Um, it's a mixed bag, but I definitely feel like I have the support of people, even if it's something they don't really care for. If I tell them about it, they'll give me a reassuring word or be like, that's great, man, that's super cool. Or I'll send them a screenshot and be like, here's a video I'm making. And they're like, oh, I love the way the light looks on, so I do get
Right.
that to some degree. To the degree I wish, absolutely not. But I've done this long enough to know that no one's ever going to love it more than I do.
That is
And
correct.
as long as I'm the one who's pumped and I'm the cheerleader for it, that's really what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're lucky though. Like I have my best bud Vincenzo who does the podcast with me. He's my soundboard. Like, and he got into AI music after I did, so we will appreciate each other's stuff because we understand. But my kids,
Sure.
when I ask them to look at stuff, like I'll send them a link, and yeah, it just I don't think they get it. And if they did it, maybe they would get it. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think too, like for me, what Ash is and what it means to me has changed over time. Because I think in the very beginning, she was like a character. It wasn't any reflection of me necessarily. It was just, I like this idea of this like cute, petite, little tiny girl who is a monster. Like
Right.
her morals are questionable, her actions are questionable. It's just fun, and it's a fun world and character to play with. And so like the early songs and stuff I did were very much like, what would this character sing about? And so it's a song about going to parties and drinking and fighting, and like that's fun. But again, I'm 44. I don't go to parties, and when I drink, a glass of wine will put me in bed for 12 hours. That's just the reality of it. And so I think it really wasn't until I'd probably, I don't know, put out a couple of EPs and maybe even a full length that I released on streaming, that I really started to, I think, dive kind of deeper into how I was writing lyrics, and they started to reflect more me. And that's when I think the turn kind of happened. Because like I don't, when I look at Ash as a character, I don't see myself like, and it's funny because again, a lot of people have assumed I was a woman, and I have a lot of people that know I'm not, that are having conversations with me still calling me Ash. This is online, of course, not in person, and I get that, and it doesn't bother me. But I am always like, you mean Jason? Because my name is Jason. But and so I think I look at her like she's still a character, but it's more like, again, you and I talked right before we started everything, that I used to have a D&D podcast I did. So I love role-playing games. It is super easy for me to be silly in front of other people. I have very little shame. So like, if you're like, okay, you're playing a German warlock, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm immediately jumping into it. I don't care. I hosted a Dungeons and Dragons podcast for a couple
I
of
miss
years.
D&D.
Yeah, so the podcast, the premise was like I would sit down with people who would never in their lives ever try and play D&D to
Right.
prove to them that it's fun and like everybody would enjoy it. It was called Too Cool for Tabletop, and so I'd
Oh, I
have them
like that.
play. And at the very end, I was like, so what do you think? Are you too cool for this? And every guest said, no, this was fun, except for one. And that one guest was my wife. And I do agree. I was like, you are too cool for this. I agree. But
That's pretty fun.
and
All right.
so looking at Ash now, it's kind of like, it's when I'm writing songs, or less writing and more when I'm creating, when I'm in the process of adding the Ash to it, because I have like my guitar downstairs and a little drum machine and a little synthesizer, and I'll hammer out demos, and it's not like I'm writing like a full 5-minute song and then I'm going
Right.
part by part. It's just ideas. I call them Suno seeds. I essentially build some seeds and then I plant them in Suno and see what I can grow out of it. So the lyric writing up until the seed building, once I've got a seed that I like, that's all me. That's all Jason. At that point, it's all been me. It's a song I'm writing from my perspective, my music, my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, all that. But then as soon as I get into Suno, that's when I start painting Ash on top of it. I like to tell people the easiest way to think of Ash is just if I was a third my size and a cute little blonde lady, and I didn't have any rules, including the laws of physics, that would be me. It's me with unabashed power, who's also a cute little blonde lady, I guess.
Yeah, I love that persona, man. It just from the first time I saw a video, it was just she caught my attention. She has gravitas as a persona, and
Thank
I
you.
think that's 80% of it, man. If you could capture the attention of somebody with just the way the character looks and then you add onto it your music, it
Yeah.
all just fits together perfectly.
Well, I
Uh,
think personality, like that's a big thing. And not to get into like a deep AI discussion, but I feel like that's what hurts the most as far as getting people who use AI in their music to get other people to listen, is because they don't see you. They're not connecting you with it. And I had a friend a long time ago when I was first doing this really emphasized to me, you need to put more of yourself into it. Put images of you and, like do a song and record some vocals with it just to have you in there. And
right.
I like that idea. And I'm starting to, I mean, that's part of why, I'm here doing the podcast with you is I I like that everyone sees Ash and she's kind of this enigma of a character. No one knows who's behind it, but it's just my dumbass. Like I just
Right.
created a character that, like you see a lot with AI image creation. A lot of people's true natures can't help but put it on display. So you got a lot of very young looking busty women characters.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I'm a dude, don't get me wrong. I like a busty woman character like anybody, but when I thought of Ash, when I was putting this idea together, it didn't matter that she was a woman. That's just the vocal sound I like.
Right.
I really preferred this certain register and that performance, and so that's what I was aiming for. And so then, like, it was just, here's this little person who I could design her as super cutesy and all that stuff and do just regular pop music. But for me, it's the fun of her and the music that I make with her is that it's light and it's fun and you can catch on to it and sing along and nod your
Yeah.
head and have fun. But it's also like filthy. It's just muddy as hell. Like I don't like a clean mix. I want the guitar and the bass so muddled together that it just sounds like your speakers are about to erupt.
Hmm.
Like I like music that I get in my truck and turn it up all the way and I go drive somewhere. That's what I'm making with her. So yeah, she I don't know, she was again a character, this whole other separate entity. And the more I played in that world and built and the music and changed my workflow, it became very clear. It's like I'm creating art and then I'm just filtering it through
Yeah.
her. She's the final draft and I'm the rough draft, I guess.
And I gotta be honest, Jason, I could see the excitement in your face when you talk about her.
I
So
love this, man. I love
yeah,
this. This
no,
is
and
all
that's
I
the
do.
same. I have the same thing with Dick Buttons. Like it's a part of me, and I enjoy talking about it. But how much of a backstory did you give Ash? Like, do you have this whole thing worked out? If see,
No.
I'm a maniac. I have a whole backstory for all the other members of the band, how they met, all that crap. It's
I
I'm
don't even
insane,
have
basically.
I don't even have like other band members. Like I have one video and a couple I've worked on but never finished where I'll have a guitarist, bassist, and a drummer and specifically on videos with songs that are like heavier or more like metal influence, just because I want to see a drummer like going nuts in a video like that. And I thought for a while, oh, I'm going to name them, give them character. But every time I put them in a video, they're in a black suit with a white skull mask, so they don't have any personality to showcase, and you can't really
Right.
show that off in a music video. So I kind of gave up on it. But no, like I mean, I will say like I don't have like lore or a background for her, and I know I've seen some of the stuff people do, and it's like, damn, J.R. Tolkien, like pick up a pencil and paper and start writing the second Lord of the Rings already. But for me, I set rules for her, and I say rules more like guidelines or like a thing. Like one rule is anytime I make a video with her, she's got to smoke a cigarette somewhere in that video. I don't smoke cigarettes. I used to. I'm sure you've seen I vape a little bit here and there, a lot. So I don't smoke. And I'm not like, yeah, smoking's cool, but when I think of her, she smokes
Right.
cigarettes. I mean, her like designing description was a woman who eats cigarettes for breakfast. And so like she's always got to have a cigarette. In a few of my videos, she'll get herself into a situation and she has a little black box with a red button. That is her. There's no situation she cannot escape from. That is one of the rules. So in a video, if I put her in the end of a robot apocalypse, she's gonna be okay. Like she can't be beaten in that way. And like the closest she's ever got was in the most recent video, which again was a less silly and Ash character, more like a serious song about depression, suicide, and all that stuff. And in that video, like there's no like, yay, happy Ash, she's kicking that, walls down, and it's kind of dark and sad, but that was by design. It's
Yeah.
I like the idea of this character who nobody can stop, but she's also like a regular person like you and me, and she needs
Right.
help sometimes. So, I mean, I guess I think about her, and like when I think about how I'm going to present her and what she's going to look like and what her performance is going to be, I think of her as just another person. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like I'm not thinking of it as what am I going to make this character do? I'm like, what would she do?
Right. And that
Like,
shows in your work though, Jason. It really does, because she comes off the screen as a real, I mean, as it's one of the most realistic personas that I've come across
well,
in
I
the community.
appreciate that. Thank you. I really do care a lot about it. Like like we talked about whenever I blew a gasket because someone sent me a link and they're like, hey, I didn't know Ash did some song. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then someone
Yeah.
put her in a video. We talked about that. It's like,
Yeah, then I thought you were talking about me using the images on Ames, and I was like, I immediately DM'd you and said, dude, I'm sorry if that was.
No, and see, like stuff like that, like you took a literal image of her from a video I made, so that was
Yes.
like you captured it, and like the thing you showed me, it's like she's there with a group of other people whose personas have been on the show, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes sense, like that's fine, and I didn't know about it. Now I'm glad I do know about it, but this was like literally like her like walking across the stage with a microphone, and I was like, I
Wow.
know I didn't make this because it looks like ass. So yeah, there was that, but
Do you think that was
yeah.
intentional or by accident?
Oh, I mean, she was wearing the outfit from the same
Really?
video,
Oh.
the thing yeah, I mean, if it's a, again, like it's AI, like someone's going to have a character that looks like that, some aspects of it. I do think she's a unique character, but I didn't reinvent the wheel. She
Right.
as a person, I know several people that dress like her. One friend in particular that has the same initials, she actually looks a lot like her in the face.
Mm.
Weird coincidence, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to describe it, it's like
Yeah.
she is definitely a separate entity for me, but when I write, it's like having her on my shoulder, over my
Yeah.
shoulder as I'm writing and doing it. It's a different perspective, I think. And I think being female, her being female, that feminine presence, I've just always, most of my life, preferred feminine things. Like I'm not a sports guy. I'm like, I don't dirt bike or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
It's just not really me. And so like I like being able to play with like the feminine perspective of her too, even though I'm writing lyrics as me. Like one of my favorite things, and I was so worried about it, again, talking what you were talking about focusing on something that's so important to you, but then by the time you release it, nobody else notices or cares. So I have a song I released called Island. In the chorus, I literally refer to myself as a man. I say I'm a hard man to reach. And I was like, oh God, Ash is saying it. People are going to think that's weird and so stupid. And like, I've literally never heard anybody say anything about it. And when
Yeah.
I hear the song now, that doesn't even stand out anymore. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a complex web. Not sure how it all fits together, but it works for me.
Yeah. I want to get into that subject a little bit later, but I want to talk about your creative process. I don't know, I guess it's different now, because was video always a big part of what you did? No, at first it was just straight up music, right?
Yeah, video just came about because I honestly I think it was Bobby, some of the Madison stuff. I know it was
Yeah.
definitely some of the PJM stuff, but that I think he had shared on Reddit that I saw, and like saw that there was a whole video to it. And I was just like, I've never really tried this. I made a video on my phone, like for one of the first things I released, and it was using all the free models to do images, so it's just all over
Right.
the
Yeah.
place, and it's not good. And I had tried that, and it was like kind of, I had fun doing it, but I didn't love the outcome. So I thought, well, like it's easy enough now because I do have a slight video background. Like I've written and made a couple of like short films and all that sort of thing. So I have some general knowledge that I could use to try and do it. And so I thought, okay, well, I can just make lyric videos. Those are easy enough. I'll make a few
Right.
images, a few videos, loop them and do that. And so then my first three like real videos that I made were lyric videos, but the longer I worked on them, the less they like the lyrics are there, but also there's full stories and the whole thing. I think for me, I didn't realize how accessible it was
Right.
to be able to do it. And especially now with, you're able to get such better consistency. So, I will say, like, my stuff included, I've yet to see a video with AI that I was totally fooled by. At least, something the length of like a music video. I'm sure I've seen a
Right.
clip here and there that I probably didn't notice, but I feel like every time I see a new video, it's like, oh wow, we're a little bit closer, we're a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And so
I
with
think for me, Mellow Delight is the closest that his stuff that what he's doing now with the kung fu stuff and everything. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty
I think
impressive.
a lot of that I think is the movement. Like once the movement gets more realistic, it sells it a lot easier in your brain. Um, that's why, like, the uncanny valley where you see something like Polar Express and CGI Tom Hanks is horrifying. It's because we know what a human being should move and
Yeah.
look like. And when
Yeah.
you see what's supposed to be a human being not moving and looking like that, it's weird. So getting that movement right makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Now, do you
Um,
think at this point the video gets in the way of the music? Not so much in the way, but because now you can't put out a lyric video now, right? You have
well,
people
I
who
think
want
you
to see it.
could. Like, I was working on one where it was a lyric video, but it was her walking through a maze and all the lyrics were on the walls as she was
Okay.
walking down the hall. So it was a lyric video, but it was also a music video on top of it. But no, I agree. It's gotten to the point now where like the models are capable of so much that if you go into it with that creative core that you can build on, I don't know, like I think you can get away with really selling it well. But the thing I worry about, because I notice it when I see certain videos, is people get really into the model and into the video, and so it's just like you have a video that's interesting to look at, but it doesn't really flow with the music. It doesn't fit what you're seeing and feeling, and so like I don't know. For me, like I've seen very still, music videos that are very still, not a lot of movement, but something about how it's put together and arranged with the
Right.
music, like it just sells it, and like you don't think, is it AI? Is it not? It just works, and so like I think it's awesome some of the stuff people have been putting out, like the detail and the action and the speed at which the characters move and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool as hell. But I do think to some degree, I do think in our community, there's a handful of people that are making music and music videos, but they really just want to make movies. Like that's really where the heart of what they love is. But that's a lot fucking harder because AI can get that look and the movement sometimes, but like timing, pacing, delivery, that's always the problem with AI
Yeah.
scenes, acting and stuff, because you can say this woman's sad and this guy's angry, but there's a trillion and a half ways to play both those emotions, and
Yeah.
are they going to consistently stay in that one lane? So it's too much. But I don't know. I think you can still put out a video that doesn't have to be mind-blowing and crazy. It just needs to suit your song. If you're
Right.
putting out like a thrash metal song on your videos, an old lady in a rocking chair, it's not going to work. But if your song is like an acoustic ballad with this very soft-spoken singer, I don't need a video of a guy running around with chainsaws either. So it's
Right.
find that balance and make sure you're telling the story with whatever tools you've got.
Yeah. What are your go-to tools right now for
Um,
video?
for video, I pretty much like I've used Kling since like 1.2, I think.
Okay.
So I use Kling pretty exclusively for most things. Um, Here lately on like bigger action shots or shots that require a lot of character movement or camera movement, I'll use Dance 2. But I try to avoid that just because it's so expensive. Um,
Yeah.
and you can get really cool results, but I find when I use Dance versus when I use Kling, I'll generate and generate until I get the exact thing I want. With Dance, I take a lot of concessions and I make a lot of changes on my end that I didn't necessarily plan to
Right.
make to suit what the video did, because it's like, this isn't exactly what I want. It's in the ballpark and it's not worth spending $10 more to hopefully maybe get the
Right.
video I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of that, but I think Kling for me, Kling is really good with like emotional. Like you can tell it emotions and feelings and describe those scenes in those terms, and it's really good at capturing all that. And that's almost always how I prompt. Like I very rarely prompt literally. I might be like a man and a woman sitting in a car. The car is of this. The man looks like this. But then the rest of it's like she cries, her heart is blah, 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 all that sort of shit. And Clean's really good about taking that and really kind of getting the feeling I want. And so that's typically the one I'll rely on until I've got like, you know, I need to make a 10-story robot fight a squid on Mars. Then it's like, yeah, Clean is not going to do that justice, unfortunately.
I'm a Google guy. Like I'm pretty much VO and Flow. I'm a fan of that, and I get that. I mean, I pay for it, but indirectly, I have a 5 terabyte storage program with Google, and you get those programs for free.
Oh, nice.
So
why not use it?
But then I was also using Grok before it went paywall. That's $30 a month. I you know,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Luckily, I'm in the position where I do a lot of the I use a lot of the same tools at work. And so my company was like, "Oh yeah, we'll pay for that. That's nothing."
I gotta ask my boss.
Yeah, it's very helpful. I still have all the other things that I do subscribe to on my own. It was getting very unwieldy for a while. I had to drop a few subscriptions because it was just like I don't need this many. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to strip it down to like I only need these things to be able to do it. And with all the new stuff being multimodal, like I have to imagine before too long, you won't need an image and a video generator. It's just you open up the Google version and it makes your images and videos just like that, you know. So I feel like eventually that workflow will get very short for most people, and I'm hoping that's the case for me.
Yeah, so that brings up a very good question. Are you concerned that as technology advances, this takes all the creativity out of it? Like if you don't have to prompt much, and if you could just put in a minimal amount of information, doesn't that take away from, like when I first started making videos, my prompts were sometimes 5 paragraphs long, a 6 paragraph, you know. Now you don't even need that.
I mean, for me, like I don't have any interest in that. That's why, like, even with something like Suno with doing music, like, early on, it was, you know, oh, I could do a little demo, but I could just hit generate, it'll make something, and and it was a lot of that, and and that's fine for people that do that. But for me, like, if I am, and I don't need full control because again, I've been in bands, I've worked in like a studio, a home studio, nothing fancy, but I know what it's like to collaborate with people. And so I understand, the general rule I try to live life by, and especially with creative stuff, is best idea wins. No ego. If I have X idea and you bust out Z idea, and I'm like, oh shit, Z idea is the idea.
Right.
Ego aside, I want what's best for the finished product, whether it's a song, video, whatever. So like, I think it's one, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I know necessary is kind of a dumb word to describe it here. None of this is necessary, but for me, I don't see the point. Like, maybe if it's like, one thing I could see is you prompt like yourself a radio station, and not necessarily you're prompting yourself songs, but something like, Spotify, where you're like, I want to listen to stuff that reminds me of these bands or this style, and it's like an AI and it just generates songs. I think that could be interesting. But even that I don't love. Like, for me, there's gotta be, I need to have some say in it. I don't need to have 50-50, 60. It's like, I'm not looking for that percentage. Like, credit doesn't matter to me. A lot of people that I see that are anti AI anything, it's all talk about credit. They're taking credit for stealing credit. Who gives a shit? Most people consume the end product. They don't care or know who ever touched it or made it. But yeah, I've got to be involved somehow. Like, I'll see posts on Reddit where people will ask like, "Oh, is there an app yet where I can just upload a song and it makes a whole music video?" And I'm just like, why?
There is.
Why?
There is, but what's the point?
Well, and again, it comes down to credit, or not even credit, but like for a community, and not even necessarily the specific one that you're in and that we're parts of, but just in general, the thing with AI that blows my mind is the amount of ego you encounter with something. For
Oh,
And again, I've played live music for a long, long time. I've played with musicians. I've played with
mm,
terrible bands with big egos, but nothing like some of the stuff I've seen. And again, like I don't care about credit. I don't care if you know you wrote some lyrics and then had Suno make your entire song using your lyrics. That's fine. I mean, but at the same time, don't come to me and say, "Look at this song I wrote." And it's like, well,
yeah,
those are lyrics you wrote. That is
right.
a song you curated. I mean, you're a songwriter. By the definition, you're still a part of that. I don't want to diminish your involvement, but it's the presentation of like I made this. And now a thing with TikTok I see all the time, people making AI songs and then lip syncing them in their videos and then acting like it's them, and that's disingenuous. And I feel like the further you get into that arena, that we're like, I don't know, because at this point, there still needs to be someone behind the wheel. Someone is still curating the
Yeah.
song, someone's still making creative decisions. Why you would want to remove that, why you remove
Mm,
your agency from your art is ridiculous to me. I can't imagine why.
I
Like,
agree.
dude, when I hear a song, if someone's like, here's my video, here's my song, the second I can tell their chat GPT lyrics, oh man, like I don't want to gatekeep. I don't want to tell people that there's a right way and a wrong way to make the art you're making. I don't want to be that guy. But every single one of us is capable of writing down how we feel about ourselves or a subject. That is not something none of us can do. If you got to do that and then have an LLM tighten it up, clean it up, or I know there's a lot of people that I know personally in the group that aren't American, and so English is
Hmm.
not necessarily a first language, but they want
Right.
to release music in English. So maybe write it in your native tongue, have AI translate it. But as soon as I can tell that what I'm watching or seeing had minimal human like involvement, where I'm like, this is a product, this is not a
Right.
reflection of anybody's anything, to me, I just don't get the purpose of it existing. And the only reason I can imagine a person made that and released it is the bragging rights, to credit, to feel good about, I made a song, I made a music video.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
paid a computer to make it for you. And if you're honest about it, that's one thing. But when you present it as something else, that's where it pisses me off. And I
Yeah.
can't I can't take it seriously anymore.
Now you mentioned gatekeeping, so that's I'll segue into that. There is a segment of our community, I'm sure that it exists in other communities too. Sometimes you want to use the word chains in your lyrics. I mean, sometimes memories is what you need to write, and
Yeah.
there are people once they see a word that comes from that list of 20 words, they're already shitting on your song. Oh my god, it's AI. But sometimes you need to put that word in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like you can look at the word use necessarily. Now, if I looked at your lyrics and every single one of those words you just listed out were all like together, I might be like, eh.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, what it is like I find that AI lyrics, they're never the same. There's not like a tell necessarily, but people write a certain way, everyone writes different, but AI is always going to try and stick to a routine, stick to a system, because that's how it knows to do things. And a lot of times the context is where it'll really stand out. Like someone's like, it's like a sad acoustic song about kind of country themed, and then you start talking about neon lights and electric this, and I'm just like, I
Right.
can't. For me, like, it stands out because I'm like, this is very much a, like, if you're into the, like, everything as a color, this is a brown song. This song is brown and dark orange. This is country western dirt kicked up, and the lyrics you're giving me are pink and neon blue. Like, it just
Right.
doesn't
Right.
make sense. That's a tell for me. And I mean, early on when I was experimenting with kind of what Ash was and what I was going to do with this, I released a couple of songs that I had no involvement in. I had an Ash's personality built into an LLM, and I was like, an experiment. You write lyrics, you describe the song, we're going to do it. I still curated and picked the version I liked, but I went back and listened to it recently, and
Hmm.
I was like, man, I hate all of this. Like, this to me, like, I get no satisfaction out of it. Maybe it was a
Right.
fun experiment, but I didn't need to put it on a CD and release it. I didn't need to do that.
Hmm.
It could have just been an experiment and stayed there.
Now, do you distribute your music at all?
Uh, I did. My distributor dropped me just recently because of the AI part of it. Even though I've been really upfront with them, and they didn't. They were a small company out of Scotland. Like they were very
Okay.
teeny tiny. They were super easy to work with. Like you signed up, you had your own agent that would like help you get all your shit done. They were great, but I hear from what I can gather, they were getting hounded by DSPs, and so they started kicking off everything that's AI. But they also fully refunded me for the year I used.
Right.
So I'm not happy about it, but I'm not super angry either. So right now I'm not, although all of it's still up from what I've seen, and I put everything else up on just my website directly to
Right.
stream. So I may put stuff back out there, and I've had a couple of people been like, "Oh, at least put this song up so I could listen to this song," and that's flattering, and I love to hear that. But I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend like a whole night getting 5 CDs up on a distributor when they might just
Right.
get ripped down again, and it's more money to spend. And so I don't know. Part of me is just like, you like that song? Here's an MP3. Like, enjoy.
Right.
Just listen
Yeah.
to it.
I think for the most part recently, like Spotify and YouTube Music are okay with it. It's because I use DistroKid for my stuff, and I've had no issue. Spotify, I'm a certified artist on Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it has to do probably with the size of the distro I'm working with. Because like I know DistroKid is really big, and I was using Lander before,
Right.
and I had to stop using them because after I signed up, they changed it to you can only, if your song had any AI, you can only release up to 3 songs a month. And I'm like, I got a 6 song EP coming out. This doesn't work. So I ended up going to this other place, but again, I think it's because they're small. Like I imagine like DistroKid, because I know several people who use them, like several, like dozens and dozens of people who use them. So I don't know, there's so much backroom dealing shit that goes on. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if it was like hey, Spotify, we're gonna do this, but I don't know, some
probably.
kickback some way or the other. But
That wouldn't
I don't
surprise
know.
me.
I used to really care about that. Like I got, for me at least, it was exciting because ever since the era of streaming music, I hadn't played music since that became a thing. So I never got to release anything. So it was really exciting to have it up there. Um, but now it really is like, I don't know if I want to like sort through all the files, find the right masters,
Right.
find the album art. And it's not that much effort. It's effort all done sitting in a chair, but it's just like, I could take that energy and write something new and not give a shit about that. So
Right.
who knows?
I mean,
I'm trying not to make plans with it.
I'm not doing it to make money, but it is fun to log on every month and see the royalty amount that I get from DistroKid. I mean, that just says to me that
Yeah.
someone's listening, right?
Well, see, and that's a thing too, is me taking it off streaming is not going to affect anybody's income. Like I had no
Right.
listener base, like maybe like a dozen active listeners, and that's been from the beginning. And so that's another thing. It's like, why put all the effort into doing this when, I mean, I don't even listen to my shit on Spotify. I listen to it on a separate thing that I have. So
At
it's like
least listen
I
to your
get
own
through
stuff,
it.
man.
Well, I do listen to it just on an app that I don't get paid for using because it's easier to use in my truck. So yeah, I don't know. I may get back up on there. Like I do like having it and make that accessibility for people to get to it. But right now I'm not feeling it, I guess is the answer.
Yeah. Let's touch upon the AI Music Society for a moment. I know you're on the peripheral. You're not heavy on there.
I'm not
Um,
even in it anymore, I don't believe.
oh, you're not?
One
Oh,
one thing is, man, like I don't use Facebook. Like the only reason I even have an account is because of Bobby, because he wanted me to communicate with him and some people part of the music, and so I made an account to do that. But I just don't ever check it. And when I do, I'm like, what are all these notifications? Get at it. I don't use it. And I've also found, and I don't know what this is, where it stems from, why it is. Like, I always feel like a square peg in a round hole kind of when I join a lot of the groups like that. And I think it's just a matter of perspective because, like, I was telling someone the other day, like, I joined some Discord someone recommended, and like, I wanted to get in there and talk about like influences, things that influence my music, and
right.
like, I wanted to ask like someone like, what outside of music? Because the thing that influences my music the most is not other music. film and TV and storytelling is really what influences it the most. And I like having those conversations. But most of the conversations I see are about like models and prompting, and it's more of a tech conversation or a tech group than it is a music group. And again, I think that might be just because I'm coming at in it from the perspective as I have always done this. Like I've made music as long as I can remember. And so like I have a way that I talk about it, the way that I am used to talking about it with other people who play music. And and I get that people aren't that. And again, I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way to do
Right.
it, but it's just I don't ever feel like I have anything to contribute because like someone will ask a question about, oh, I can't get Nano Banana to do this. Do you have any pointers? And I do. I'll be like, yeah, I have a pointer, this. But it's like, I don't want to be in a group just to be tech support. Like I wanted to talk about these things I'm excited about and I love, and those conversations aren't really happening. So I just slowly meander away, really. Yeah. Well, again, because I have a marketing background, I did so much social media marketing for the past 2
Right.
decades. Like I legitimately think social media is the most dangerous thing we've ever made in the history of mankind. I think it is like the going to be the downfall of everything. And so like, I just don't want to be on it. I don't, I feel like it's just such a disingenuous experience. Everyone is cosplaying as a version of themselves for everybody
Mm.
else. I mean, I do it. I'm not saying I'm better or different than
Right. Right.
anybody else. I just don't want to be a part of it. Like, if someone wants to know what I got going on, like fucking call me, man. Like shoot
Yeah.
me a text. I'll tell you. I'll share you everything. But
Yeah,
I don't
so
want to
you're much
just.
younger than me. So, but I grew up without social media. I'm 60. I grew up without social media. So,
I didn't have it till I graduated from high school. I was already
okay.
18
All
or
right.
19. So yeah.
Well, yeah. So much, it was much. I remember I was using DOS and all that,
Oh yeah.
MySpace and all that shit. Um, but I
I
think I
remember the
benefited
bulletin
growing
board
up.
systems from way back
Yeah.
in the early day. I remember all that. Yeah, old
I
school.
tried to explain to my son what DOS was, like Microsoft Word DOS version. What do you mean DOS? I go, it was just he just couldn't have fathomed it. But
You'd have to log out of. I wanted to play a Doom. I had to log out of Windows, boot into DOS, load up Doom,
yeah,
and put in. You had 15 floppy disks to install it. I remember all that shit. Yeah.
it's crazy. How important do you think collaboration is? Because I know you've done several. Do you
Well,
think
really, I've just done the one. Just one
I
with
thought there was
chemistry.
that's it?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
I've had a
Good for
few people ask me and approach me, and I'm always like, yeah, like if you have an idea, give it to me. But most of the conversations kind of end there. But I think it's a cool thing. Like I like that people do it, especially when they vibe. Like um, Timistry, whatever you want to call him, Tim A. He he has that song "Not Built to Behave," and
Yeah.
I was watching. I was that night. I was in the group chat for Fresh Friday, and I saw the video and just instantly was like, I fucking love this. And it's not even really genre I necessarily listen to, is more dance than anything. But I just thought it was super cool. I like the vibe. I mean, very obviously, like it's a very Ash thing, like Not Built to Behave. It's
Right.
this chick dancing in a pile of rubble. I'm like, this is very much my cup of tea. And so then I reached out to him. And we just started chatting that way, and he talked about doing a collab. And I had made a song, honestly, as a demo to show a coworker how Suno worked, and it was just some little dumb shit I was putting together. And then like the song came out so catchy that I was like, I'm not going to release this, but like this is fun, I'm going to keep it. He started talking about a collab, and I'm like, dude, I got this song that I'm not going to put out. I bet you could do something cool with it. And like, it's funny. Like, I think he has made my favorite Ash video, and I had no involvement at all. So it's a testament to his
Yeah,
skill.
sometimes it takes someone else's viewpoint to
Yeah,
yeah. Where do you see
very
now?
much so.
So AI music is one thing, and I always ask all the creators that I have on, what are your thoughts on AI as a whole? Like you said, social media was going to be the end of civilization. I think at one point AI is going to end us.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I
I
think they kind of
agree.
go hand in hand. But I mean, I don't know. Something that I always remember that I think I saw a tweet where someone said, I was promised a future where AI did my laundry and paid my bills while I did art and made music. And, that's not where we are. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, as someone who uses the tool and really enjoys using it, I'm such an asshole, and that I will see someone else using it and be like, why are you wasting resources making that shit? You know what I mean? Like, someone like I'll see someone, it's always on Reddit. Someone's like it kills me. Here's a tool, any idea you can fathom, anything you can conjure in your stupid ass skull, you can make it. And everyone's like, look, here's Goku in the Venom symbiote. Here's Spider-Man with a Captain America shield. It's like, fucking do, like, is that the best you've got, is to make something you've already seen? Like, it drives me crazy. And so, like, I don't know. Again, I never want to be a gatekeeper. I'm a firm believer of you live your way, and if you're not hurting anybody and you're not annoying me, then Godspeed. And I feel like that should be everyone's mentality. But at the same time, when I see people using it for like literally something purposeless, it annoys me. It annoys me when I see people use Chat GPT as Google, and it's like, just Google it, like, you know. And the whole impact that AI is having on the environment, like, I try to stay informed on that and be conscious of that. And there's times where, like, and it's so funny because when I do it, I feel stupid for doing it, but then I'm like, you know what, you got to kind of make that decision. But it's like, I have this idea for a picture. I don't need to make that. I don't need to waste some water and make that shit. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the information out there has been overblown. I just saw in the news that there's been a whole Chinese CCP campaign in the US to turn people against AI and all that shit. And so it's just like, if I try to do deep research on it, I have no faith of knowing if what I'm finding is real or not. And I think that is where the AI of it all becomes scary. And it can be dangerous. Like, the way AI treats information. Like, when I hear people say, oh, AI music is going to destroy the music industry. Good. Fuck the music industry. Those people are money grubbing monsters. It's a cesspool. If something kills it, good. That it deserved to die. You know, but at the same time, like, I don't want people being like, oh man, you know, I can't afford to go to the doctor. I'll just type in what I have here. And again, you know, I've used that with my pets and they get sick. And I'll tell you this, DeepSeek is my second veterinarian. It has been 100% right about all my pets, always backed up by an actual vet. So I don't know, it's got its benefits. And I think people that are already, oh God, this is going to sound so pretentious, but people that are already smart, people that are already, and I don't mean like book smart, I just mean people that are aware, people that have the common sense. I feel like those people will take something like AI and hopefully treat it the way I do. It's an extension, it's a tool. Like, it's about speed. Because what I do now with writing music and making music videos, if AI vanished right now, I can still do that. I still have music instruments. I can still sing. I'll put that in quotes just in case someone makes me one day. I still have a camera, I still have video lights. I can still make that. Can I make what I've been releasing? No, absolutely not. These would look like shit, but I can still do it. So for me, AI is a tool to bridge the gap between the areas I'm not good at. Like, I love writing stories. I love editing. Like, when I'm doing video, editing is my favorite part. But oh my God, I hate filming. I hate it so much. It is hell on earth. I would, like, if I never have to hit record on a video camera ever again, good. So this lets me still take all these things I like and am good at, editing. And like, I love having my editor open here, having the video generator open on this monitor, and I'm editing. I'm like, oh, this should transition into that. Type, enter, wait a minute, download, enter, start cutting. Like, I'm literally building it in real time as I go. And to work at that speed, at that full level of creativity with very limited, you know, limitations, I guess. I don't know, it's exciting and it's fun to do. So as long as it can kind of stay in that mode where it's being used as a tool to bridge the gaps for people to, you know, like, it's great for like language barriers for AI to be able to translate in real time for people. That's super cool. And I think that's cool. And I think AI, as far as medical stuff, eventually with robots doing machine, like I feel like that is going to save lives. And, I theoretically, it could make healthcare much more affordable for everybody. And,
Right.
if you're in the US, it's just never going to happen because they hate us. But that's a whole different podcast
Yeah,
discussion.
we could do a whole nother episode on that.
So, yeah, I know.
Where do you see Ash in 5 years? Do you have a plan for her, or is it
Um, I don't know, man. Like, honestly, like 5 years sounds so far, but I also know how quick time passes for me these days. So I feel like my gut reaction is I don't think I'll be doing Ash in 5 years. But I mean, in the cutting, getting close to maybe year and a half, year and 3/4 that I've been doing it, I have never made a second persona. I have never, I've dabbled a couple of times where I'll have an idea for something and I'll make a couple of tracks. Those have all become Ash songs eventually.
right?
And I think part of that is too, is I'm a big fan of many genres and I love blending genres. I love different sounds coming together. Like, one a new song that I just finished that is probably one of my favorites. Like, it's got like toy instruments, like toy piano and like xylophone stuff, and then
Hmm.
like a sludgy breakdown after. It's just like I like to take things that pique my curiosity and interest, and then try to make them fit together. So the fact that I've kind of positioned Ash's music to be a lot of genres, I'm not really limited to sticking with one thing.
Right.
It's taken away really my need to make more personas, and I'm, I know you had mentioned like you have several personas. I know a lot of people in the group really go nuts on personas. And again, that's cool, man. If that's your goal, make a bunch of characters and build these stories, that's awesome. But for me, again, my marketing background, when I see that, I'm just like, no one's ever going to remember any of these
Right.
characters because there's too many. And like you had said, like Ash is very distinct and you remember her and stand
Yeah.
out. And I agree, just as a character, I feel like it may, whether or not I've done a good job is up to everybody else, but I've stayed true to what I wanted her to be and how I wanted her to be perceived. And so, sorry, I feel like I'm kind of rambling at this point, but it gets to the point where in 5 years, if I'm still doing it, which maybe is a real possibility, I would be surprised if it looked or sounded anything like this. I'm just
Okay.
constantly trying to evolve it. I always want it to change a little bit. I got a message from Bobby yesterday that was like, I see Ash got a new haircut. Is there a new era of Ash coming? And I'm like, you're a perceptive boy there, buddy. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like my own little private, like, D&D, like
Yeah.
I'm role playing as this character who's in this world that's like mine. She gets to release music videos and save pug dogs and fly in rocket ship cars and do whatever I think of, because that's the beauty of this technology now.
And there is a common thread because I that's why I love doing these interviews. I would say most of the interviews I've done from the people from AI Music Society, the creators, D&D is a common thread.
Makes sense. I mean, all of this stuff it's like the culmination of tech and nerd and
Yeah.
art, and it'd be damn near impossible to find a person who doesn't like music.
Right.
And then add into that, the nerdiness of playing with the new tech and the
Hmm.
excitement of having something instantly realized from an idea, like it
Yeah.
makes sense all those worlds are converging, because, for all intents and purposes, for anyone who doesn't really get how the AI works, it's magic. I mean, it might as well be
Yeah.
fucking D&D. You
Right.
you tell a bard you want to hear a song about a blonde lady, smashing a police station with a sledgehammer, and ta-da, that bard's gonna put the song out for you. It'll just happen. It's magic.
Yeah. Man, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me, man. And I enjoyed this tremendously.
Yeah, I did too.
I
Thank you.
have a new affinity and a new understanding for Ash now too. So
Well, and
getting to
I kind of hoped, like I didn't really have like an agenda or goal coming into this. It was just like I told you before, man, I hadn't been on a podcast in a while. I love to talk about Ash, and I don't really have that opportunity that often, at least not to this extent. So yeah, and I kind of hoped, like, I wanted to bridge the gap between who I am and who Ash is, because I think, like what you just said, Ash is I think she can be perceived maybe a little differently knowing me and kind of knowing where she came from. Because like at the end of the day, like the worst thing I've ever made her done will ever make her do, it all starts from a place of this will be funny. This will
Right.
be fun. I'll show someone this and they'll be like, that's ridiculous and insane. And I love it. And I don't know, like I take her and the music seriously, but I don't take myself seriously. And so it's much easier just to kind of throw all the weird ideas into the mix and seeing what comes out. And like I said, I hope this interview kind of made people appreciate it, or at least see it a little different, take something away from it. But I don't know.
It did for me, and I guarantee it's going to do for everybody else. So thanks again, Jason.
Of course. Thank you.
See you soon.
Thanks for having me on the podcast, Dick.
Was my pleasure, Ash.
It's all you, it's all you, it's all you, it's all you. I can look at it a million ways, million times in a couple days. Say I get it, clearly don't. No time to argue, got time to smoke. I run around, I go around, I got it all figured out. Burn a bridge, torch a few. What is old, always new. And now I'm an island, I'm a hard man to reach. Lose connection, skip lessons, I'm an old dog to teach. I'm an island. I can empathize, but I can dull chemicals to ease the skull. Tipping toes, don't crack the shells. I drop my guard, oh what the hell? What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst you could do? Could you send me away like some lovable stray left to struggle, survive with no roof? Good, cause you should, I deserve it. I run around, I go around, I got it all figured out. Burn a bridge, torch a few. What is old, always new. And now I'm an island, I'm a hard man to reach. Lose connection, skip lessons, I'm an old dog to teach. I'm an island. Enough rope, check. Your own grave, check. Exit sealed, yes ma'am. Bridges burned, oh yeah. Congrats, you're all done. It's part